Okay, this looks like about 4 cups. And I'll measure it just to make sure. And throw it in a measuring cup. And it doesn't have to be perfectly exact. Just one approximately. And there's 2 cups. I'll get my bowl and put it. So there's 2 cups. And there's about 2 more cups. So we're right on the money. So 2 medium zucchinis will get you 4 cups. And we'll just throw that in our bowl. Alright, now I'm going to make pesto sauce. Now we're going to put a 1/2 cup of pine nuts. And these have been soaked for about 6 hours. And anytime you use nuts, you want to soak them because it makes them more digestible. So these are soaked pine nuts, 1/2 cup. Let me get all those in there. We're going to put in a 1/2 cup of water, 2 cloves of garlic. And we're going to put in about a 1/2 cup of chopped parsley. So let me get some parsley here. And we'll chop that up. Normally, I just throw in a handful of parsley, but I'm measuring this out and chopping it and measuring it out for you so you know exactly how much to use. So I'm just going to take the 1/2 cup and throw it in the food processor. Okay. And then we're going to take a cup of chopped basil. Okay. And I'm just going to chop it not too fine, so that we get a cup of chopped basil. The smell. It smells so good. Okay, I'm just going to rough cut that. And I'm going to put 1 cup of basil, roughly. Okay, that's about a cup. And we'll throw that in. Okay. And then we're going to take some salt. We're going to use 1 teaspoon of Celtic salt. And actually, this is Himalayan salt. But any unrefined, unheated salt is good. And then we're going to use the juice of, we're going to use fresh squeezed lemon juice, but we're going to use 1/8 cup of lemon juice. So I'm just going to measure that. There's about 1/8. That's a little bit more than 1/8. There we go. Okay, and that's it. And then what we do is blend. And make our pesto sauce. Oh, I've also got to add olive oil. I forgot. So we're going to use 1/2 cup of organic, first cold-pressed olive oil. Let me pour that. And this is a really nice olive oil. I tell you, olive oils are kind of like wines for some people. You can buy really expensive olive oils, like $72 for a bottle of olive oil. There are connoisseurs of olive oil out there. And some of them are really, really amazing. So we'll put in there, 1/2 cup of olive oil. And we're going to blend. Looks nice. And this, being a pesto sauce, it's a little bit, it's not like pesto itself. It's a little bit more runny than pesto because you want it to coat the noodles. So we just take that and pour it over our noodles. That is, oh, that's awesome, and it smells so good. I love it. And then I'm just going to toss it and stir it a little bit. Cut those noodles up just a little bit. Blend in the pesto. This is also one of my favorites. Actually, all my recipes are my favorites. I love them. That's why I came up with them. Chop it and stir it. All right. And There we have zucchini pesto pasta. I have a great use for my French dressing recipe, and it's very simple. You just take the French dressing and pour it over spiralized zucchini or spiralized squash. So you can have French squash pasta or French zucchini pasta. In this case, we're going to be making it with squash. And so I've already spiralized one squash. I've got another squash. I call this a medium squash. I'm going to cut it in half and spiralize it. And then we're just going to pour the sauce over it. This one straighter. This is another favorite at potlucks. Now, people always like this one. So I take my noodles, throw them in a bowl, and I pour my French dressing over it. And then stir it up, maybe chop it a little bit. Move that over here. Okay. Toss and stir. And this dressing really does taste like French dressing. I came up with this accidentally one day. I was making something else and left out, hadn't finished it, and it tasted it, and it tasted like French dressing, so I said, okay. This is now French dressing. So, that's it. It's very simple. French squash pasta, or you can use zucchini. Now we're going to talk about salads, and in particular what I call power salads, because about 90% of the time what I eat is mostly these kinds of salads. I learned a long time ago, I've tried a lot of different things, and I found that eating lots of fruit or eating lots of this or that unsettles me and throws me off balance in a lot of different ways. Eating a high green diet, eating lots of greens and sprouts, and drinking lots of green drinks is what I've found works for myself and for most people. So we're going to make a salad that has a very dense nutrient content in it, not some wimpy salad like you find in restaurants. So the first thing I do is, of course, start with some lettuce. And I've got several different kinds here, red leaf, romaine. And I just, chop them up. You can use a ceramic knife if you don't, if you want to. Ceramic knives will keep lettuces from turning brown. And a lot of times with soft lettuces, or even with tough lettuces like romaine, I'll do a chiffonade cut, which is just slicing it into thin ribbons, and I'll show you, like with this, and here romaine. Just take it and roll it up, and then you can cut it very thin ribbons. This tomato over here. And if you don't like really long ribbons, you can cut your leaves lengthwise. So you unroll those and you get these beautiful ribbon cuts. That's a chiffonade. You take that and just throw it in there. So I always start out, with a good base of lettuce. You can use one lettuce. You can use several different kinds of lettuce. I like. Sometimes I'm in the mood for soft lettuces, and sometimes in the mood for stiff lettuces. And then I always like to throw in some cucumber. And this is Italian cucumber, also known as English cucumber or European cucumber or burpless cucumber. And I just cut them lengthwise into quarters and then into small pieces. Throw those in. And of course, you can put anything you want into a salad, but what makes this a power salad in addition to the usual stuff? that you put in a salad is the addition of sprouts, and lots of them. I don't like wimpy salads. I like a salad that is a meal and it holds me. And so we'll put sprouts in there. I also like to put green onion or some kind of onion in there. You can also put leeks in there. And this knife has a rounded tip on it, which makes it nice for doing stuff like this, where you can run down the middle of a green onion. And then I just take those and get my fingers out of the way. Don't want to cut your fingers off. Makes things more difficult when you don't have fingers. These are organic heirlooms, actually, and we're very lucky in this local area we can find them. But tomatoes are very highly hybridized usually, and very often they're genetically modified. So make sure that you're getting a tomato that's organic and not genetically modified. And I cut them in half so they'll lay down nicely. And then there are lots of ways to cut a tomato. There are lots of ways to dice and slice things. I just cube them up sort of like this, and then I'll throw away the stem. And I really like tomatoes, so sometimes I'll throw a lot of tomato in my salads. There's something about tomatoes that are very balancing for me. Okay, and I'm going to lift my cutting board up and throw that in. Oops, pardon me. Sorry, Mr. Bowl. All right. And then if you want, you can throw in some carrots to balance the flavors. And that's one thing with salads, you know, you want to have things that are maybe a little bitter, and some things that are sweet, and maybe some acid flavors. And so, you know, when you're used to eating salads, taste this, you know, think about what the salad tastes like. And if it's missing something or if it has too much of one flavor, you can balance it. So I'm balancing acid of the tomatoes with the sweet of the carrots. And the lettuce is also balanced well with the sweetness of the carrots. And then the cucumbers also give it a nice neutral flavor. I'm going to throw in some pine nuts, and these are soaked. They've been soaked about 6 or 8 hours. And I always want to soak your nuts because they become much more digestible that way. And I like a lot of those, so we'll throw those in there. And I often make Mediterranean-style salads, and so a lot of times I'll throw in olives. And I'll tell you, I used to not like olives until I started finding out how healthy they are for you. And also, I had never really had good olives, so I never liked them because I never had good ones. These are very good raw olives. And these are from naturalzing.com. You can find them in health food stores sometimes. But I'm going to show you how to remove the pits. These have pits in them. And it's very simple. These are nice soft olives, but even hard olives you can do this. Just take a knife, take the flat side of a knife, put it over your olives, and just smash it with your palm or with the heel of your hand. And just smash them down like that. And then you can just very easily remove the pits. And you can do this also for cherries, lots of fruits that have seeds and pits like this. This will also work for crisp olives. These are soft olives, but it will work just as well for crisp olives. And